On the afternoon of the 25th of October, 1415, a field in France lay littered with the bodies of dead soldiers from one of the most catastrophic defeats of the French in the 100 Years' War. After the battle, a voice cried out, "It is not we who have made this great slaughter, but the omnipotent God, and, as we believe, for a punishment of the sins of the French." This voice came from Henry V. This powerful and popular king controlled all he now saw before him, and his story, immortalised on the fields of Agincourt.
However, only a few months before Henry's triumphant victory at Agincourt, it was here, in Southampton, that a plot to usurp the king was revealed.
This plot to remove one of England's most famous medieval kings and military commanders from a position appointed by God is overshadowed by what happened at Agincourt, yet had potentially significant consequences.
In this film, we will explore why the plot took place, its significance, and the severe damage it could have caused to England's second Lancastrian monarch.
Southampton Bargate, built as the main entrance to the town in 1180 AD. This 800-year-old gatehouse has a rich history, ranging from being a prison up until the 1800s to an air raid shelter in World War II. This was the location where Richard of Coinsborough, Thomas Grey and Henry Scrope met their fate and were executed. And what was a key part of their downfall? It was their own handwritten confessions. Identified in 1882 by James Gardner in the Public Record Office, they were severely damaged and hard to distinguish.
We are here at the National Archives in Kew Gardens to take a closer look at the conspirators and their confessions that ultimately led to their demise.
Hi Paul, thanks for inviting us down. What can you tell us about this document and sort of how it got here into the archives?
Okay, well, obviously dates from 1415, I think. It's part of the Archive of the Exchequer, so it's the King's financial arm of government where all the money is dealt with. It's in a series called E163, so within the Exchequer Archive there's various different series of different types of document created by the Exchequer or for the Exchequer. This particular series, though, is miscellaneous. I think it's when they went into the Exchequer Archive in the 19th century, found stuff that they didn't really know where it belonged, so they put them all together in this miscellaneous series. So E163/7, and this is number 7 in that series, are all documents from the reigns of Henry V and Henry VI. So they're all kind of jumbled up together. There's no real reason why number 6 and number 7 belong together. They don't really, apart from them being chronologically arranged.
Yeah. So was there any particular reason why it ended up in this miscellaneous category? Was it perhaps not considered that important or just sort of rejected as a sort of...
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure, but if you look at the condition of it, you can see, and I think, you know, with the photos you've taken, you'll be able to see just how badly it's faded. And there are these dark blotches on where somebody, I think in the 19th century, has applied like what they call gall to it, which for about 30 to 40 minutes would have made the text that was faded legible, but then since then, as you can see, it's gone completely black. But you can kind of also see that this document might have been a couple of different documents that related to the same confessions. They're written, some of them are written in the same hand, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if they've sort of, a couple of documents have been brought together. They may have been found together, I don't know, because there's nothing in the box to tell us. All they've got is the stamp of the office in the 19th century or 20th century. But there's nothing to say, no archivist note to say, you know, these membranes were reunited in whatever year.
Yeah.
The only thing we know is that they were put into this current arrangement in 1987, because there's a conservation note on the front to say that was when they were last conserved. But you can see they're being backed with parchment, or in this case paper, because that document's paper, these are parchment. So I'm afraid I can't really answer why.
Yes, it's not in great condition.
In this particular
there is a
series,
transcript that we've got,
exactly,
so we can have a look at that to sort of find out more.
Yeah, it's just a shame that's in such bad condition. You know, there will be questions that nobody, even the greatest historians, can ask because of the missing text.
Let alone
the
us.
documents.
Yeah.
As we can see from the condition from one of our main sources, certain facts about the plot are hard to uncover. However, it does give us some indication, as we will now show.
We're here at Portchester Castle, where just before he set sail to France, Henry had a plot revealed to him. The conspirators, Lord Scrope, the Earl of Cambridge and Sir Thomas Grey, wished to depose Henry in favour of the Earl of March. But it was the Earl of March who informed Henry here at Portchester that the plot was taking place.
Within his short time on the throne, Henry had already been the target of a few rebellious uprisings. With the aftermath of the Lollard Rebellion in 1414 lingering, a show of strength after the discovery of the Southampton Plot was deemed essential.
Just 5 days after the plot was uncovered, all three were executed, and Henry, within 6 days, departed on his quest to invade France and was victorious at the legendary Battle of Agincourt. The victory was monumental in securing Henry's position as king, leaving what was a significant event in his reign to be completely overshadowed.
We are here at St Julian's Chapel, where the Earl of Cambridge, one of the main conspirators in the plot, was buried. His body was brought here shortly after his execution at the Bargate.
Cambridge was the chief conspirator, with the event sometimes being referred to as the Cambridge Plot. He was a significant figure within government, having defended Herefordshire from a Welsh rebellion in 1403, which was followed by receiving a knighthood from Henry IV in 1406. The trust Cambridge had gained is also shown in how he was assigned as escort for Henry's daughter Philippa. Mortimer's betrayal towards Cambridge is noteworthy, owing to his older sister Anne being the first wife of Cambridge.
His family ties with Mortimer could allude to his involvement in the plot, along with financial difficulties and lack of land. Furthermore, his second wife belonged to the Percy family, a family who had a significant history of rebellion.
Another one of the conspirators who played a less significant role was Sir Thomas Grey.
Grey's involvement was attributed by himself to poverty and covetousness. His lordship of Walk in Tyndale was acquired through the marriage of his young son, Thomas Grey, to the daughter of Cambridge, but this marriage turned out to be more than what he could afford. This left him in financial difficulties, with little to no royal patronage to compensate.
Finally, the last conspirator, Henry Scrope, who was within the king's inner circle, betrayed the king who bestowed honours upon him.
This friendship earned Scrope the titles of Treasurer and Knight of the Garter in 1410. This then allowed Scrope to go on diplomatic missions.
After Portchester Castle, Henry went to Southampton, where the trial took place.
We're here at the Red Lion pub, just a short walk down from the Bargate. It's here, according to local legend, that the trials of Cambridge, Scrope and Grey allegedly took place. The potential ramifications of the plot were so severe that it was deemed necessary by Henry to have Cambridge, Scrope and Grey executed only 5 days after it was revealed to him. The three conspirators aimed to depose Henry in favour of the Earl of March. They had had concerns about his legitimacy as king and their own finances under Henry for some time, and this was what led to the conspiracy taking place.
However, the underlying issues that plagued Henry's reign were much more complex and rooted within an unstable monarchy. It seems fitting to conclude here at one of the most impressive and historic sites in Southampton. These 14th century stone walls have witnessed many historic events. Beyond seeing the Southampton Plot as an immediate danger to Henry's life, it also posed a significant threat to the Lancastrian dynasty that he strove to protect.